Hey guys, welcome to the Noble Broker. I am your host, Jonathan Lickstein. And remember, on the Noble Broker, what we do is we get behind closed doors with producers and professionals in the real estate industry. And we really just get to know who they are because agents, mortgage brokers, insurance, anybody related to the real estate industry, we're people too. We have interests, we have lives, we have passions, we have highs, we have lows. And on the Noble Broker, we get into it. We get to know people. So today, I have Esther Cohen, realtor extraordinaire, mom, professional, superwoman.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Esther, what is your home area? Where do you farm? What is your specialty in real estate, geographically speaking? Where are you?
My specialty is residential. I dabble a little in commercial, but I prefer residential just because that's my passion. Areas, Hollywood is my farm area, but I do North Miami Beach, Eastern Shore, Surfside, Miami Beach. My clientele is from all over and they want all over. So I kind of just strive to service them all over.
You go where they are. You go where you're needed, right?
I go where I'm needed.
Did you grow up down here?
No, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, actually.
In New York, you're one of those. You
Yeah.
came down.
So I bring the Brooklyn, New York hustle to Miami.
I love it. How long have you been down here?
In 2023, it'll be 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2015 you came down.
Yeah.
That was an interesting time. A lot of growth going on in South Florida.
100%.
Right. So you came down from New York. What did you do in New York?
So I actually didn't come from New York directly. I was actually in Israel, living in Israel for a year and a half.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's when we came here.
And you speak Hebrew. You lived in Israel, so you learned Hebrew there.
Yeah, fluent Hebrew.
Fluent Hebrew.
English is my first language.
So you speak 3 languages.
English, Hebrew, and Miami.
So maybe it's 4: English, Hebrew, Miami, and realtor.
And realtor. Oh yeah.
As, you know, we
Miami's another language.
Miami's a completely another language.
100%.
It's a different dialect of Spanglish, somewhere along those lines. Yeah. But realtor's a whole code. It's a whole language.
Oh, good.
So as realtors, we could be having a completely different conversation and undertone. You kind of know what it actually means. Those interactions are fun.
Yeah.
But so you moved down from New York via Israel to Miami.
Yeah.
And when you got to Miami, what did you plan to do? What was your life plan for work, profession?
At the time, I had 1 kid. And so it was just kind of like the American dream. Even though I was American, when we decided to leave Israel, we knew we wanted to go to the United States. And I was like, it's either Brooklyn, New York, where I have jobs set up, or it's Florida. Take
American dream. Move to Florida.
Yeah, take that risk. And we moved to Florida. And at first, no, I didn't know I wanted to get into real estate. I had no plan. It was just kind of
just get to Florida.
Go with the flow, day by day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing we do with every guest on this show is there's a story. Everyone has a reason, a circumstance, a person, something that influenced their decision and made them get into real estate. If you'd like, I'll tell you mine, but I'm really intrigued and I want to hear your story, your origin story. How did Esther Cohen become Esther Cohen, awesome realtor?
Thanks. So I think for me, I've always worked. I don't remember a time that I wasn't working. I'm not the type to not work. I always got to keep myself busy. And I had good jobs. From the age of 13, I was like the babysitter in the community I grew up in.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, making money from then, And at the beginning when I was here, I was working, for different companies. And I just didn't feel like fulfilled. I've always liked helping people. Until today, I love helping people. So I'm like, what could I do? Tried a little bit of fashion consulting. And
interesting.
I know. And then I was like, not really. Like, I don't, it's...
What kind of fashion consulting? What do you mean?
Like, I would go with people shopping to the mall and fit, like, their wardrobe,
Interesting.
Yeah.
How does that work? So you go to a mall
Yeah.
with someone and you're essentially giving them fashion advice
Yeah.
as they try things on.
Yeah.
Like a consultant.
And a lot of the times, I didn't even know what I was doing. Just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I was a hustler, just trying to, make ends meet, I guess.
Right.
But I didn't have enough passion for it, and I didn't feel I was the best at it. Like, until today, I go shopping, I send pictures to my friends. I'm like, should I get this? Should I not?
That's how things work, though.
I know, but
It's easier to give good advice than to decide ourselves. It's human nature.
100%. But then real estate was, okay, so I got to Miami, and of course, every other person I meet, I'm in real estate. I'm in real estate. And I'm like, everyone's in freaking real estate. Like, maybe I should do this. But I didn't have the push yet. I was pushed by a lot of people that were close to me, that I could say. So one day I was working for a nonprofit organization, and I just felt like I was wasting my time there. Not even the money that I was making, it was just covering to put my daughter in daycare.
Right.
I just wasn't enjoying it. And I was sitting one day at home and I was watching HGTV. It was the Property Brothers, or
Absolutely.
And that is not but that's not how I do something completely different. I would love to one day, have a show with flipping houses, and I think I would be great at it. And you'd probably watch it.
I would watch your show. It would be very entertaining.
But I was like, I actually enjoyed it. I'm like, this looks nice. I like this, So I started researching. And then I was like, I'm going to go. I went and signed up to Gold Coast schools.
Did you go in person or online?
In person.
In person.
I'm an in-person kind of person. I'm not a good test taker or learner. That's why I didn't go to college. But it was great. And I worked hard, handling that, going to school, plus working, plus taking care of my daughter.
It's a full plate.
Yeah, I mean, her dad helped a lot then, my ex was my biggest supporter. He's the one that pushed me to get into real estate, and I have friends that are till today, my clients also, they actually just bought their first house with me. Mm-hmm. But they pushed me. My friend, he actually has a background in accounting, and so he knows numbers and stuff. So for the real estate exam, for the state exam, he helped me study. They were my number one supporters.
And pushed you through.
Pushed me through. There was times I was like, I don't know, should I not do this? And I felt like giving up, but I'm glad I didn't.
It's a combination of community support, competition, and the desire to be perfect, to be the best at whatever you are doing is what drove you to get into real estate.
Yeah.
Is that what motivates you still today?
Today, I think what motivates me the most is I'm a single mom of 2 recently. So I got to do what I got to do.
Hustler.
But also I have a passion for it. I love it. I enjoy it. It's showing houses is one thing. What gets me going is the contracts. I love the contracts. I love negotiating. I love negotiating.
I do.
And
I share this passion.
I'm fighting for my clients. I'll do anything for them. I treat each client like they're my family.
And it's the connection that you make through that that becomes so much more valuable than you could have expected.
100%.
I completely agree.
I'm referral based, so it's really that. It's making sure my clients are happy at the end of the day.
Fighting for them every step of the way.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. The actual laws and codes of the state identify that the real estate, quote unquote, real estate transaction ends at the signing of the contract.
Yeah.
But we know that's not how it is, right?
We had this conversation recently.
I remember. And someone who's so dedicated and engaged with their clients, their friends, their relationships that they receive because they're so personal off a referral-based business, you cater to them like you're part of that journey just as they are.
100%.
And you hear that cliche, it's the single most expensive investment people make in their lives, but it's the truth. And even more so, it's an emotional roller coaster.
100%.
Right?
I mean, I just purchased my second home, so...
Congratulations.
Thanks. And sold
Enter
my first.
applause sound bit.
Buy real estate, guys. Even with the interest rates being the interest rates, I just bought a house.
Oh, don't open that door. I'm about to go through there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But go back to your story. You just bought your second house.
Yeah, I just bought my second home, and I was stressed. I was going through and I was my own realtor. And it was very stressing, and it kind of reminded me what my buyers and my sellers go through. Because at the same time, I was a seller and a buyer, and it even softened me a little more for certain deals I have going on, to remember you just went through what they are going through right now.
what you just hit on is a really important piece that a lot of people lose sight of professionally, personally, and just living through life,
Yeah.
regardless of the application. And what you just gained right there is perspective of the other side of the transaction, what your customers go through, and how to engage with them in a different manner than those who haven't. And let's go back for a second. You talked about the Property Brothers, right? They flip houses with no, the Property Brothers. Yes, they flip houses with the customers. They turn it into their dream home, right?
Yeah.
And have you ever thought about getting into the investment side of real estate?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually right now what I'm focusing on. Besides for my day-to-day real estate deals, looking to start a team of flippers. So I have already a designer who I have in mind, an interior designer, and contractors, and everything like that. It's just the investors is what we need to get going.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting time in the market.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
It's a neat time for you to plan and pivot because things are different right now. They're pivoting, right?
Yeah.
That's a common word that's used right now.
I know, all day. That's all I hear.
Pivot. The market
Yeah.
is shifting. Shift. I hear the shifting gears a lot.
Shifting.
So as things are transitioning and you're planning for the next evolution, right? Where do you think that is? Where do you think that's coming? Where do you see the market kind of going? Because a lot of people are on the sidelines. Realtors sometimes get nervous, but it's where.
It's so hard to answer that question because, COVID hit less than a month after my second child was born. And I was like, holy moly, I need to go get myself another job. I mean, what am I going to be doing? No one knew.
There was a point of panic.
Yeah,
for sure.
No one knew what's going to happen. I had just purchased our first home. So I was like, what's going to be? And, I think for everyone, my business was doing pretty good then. It skyrocketed.
Yeah, it's crazy
But
how quickly things turned around. How quickly
Turned
things
around
can
in
change.
a second. So it's like, people ask me that, and I feel like every day I have another answer. What's the market going to be? But then I look and I'm like, people still need to buy a home. Like, people still need to buy homes. And even me buying the house that I just bought, I calculated how much it would cost me. What's the difference if I rented or I bought? Maybe rent and wait. No. I bought because it's still more than $1,000 cheaper on my monthly payment to buy.
It's
So why would I
absolutely-
throw my money on you buy, just like I bought my first home when my interest rate was 6.5%. And then I refied a year later at 3%. So you buy and you just refi later. That's my opinion.
Marry the home, date the rate.
I know, I'm hearing that a lot.
It's
It's corny.
It's
but
corny and I
okay.
like it.
But it's cute.
It falls into my wheelhouse.
It's cute. It's like everyone's gonna do what's good for them. But I feel like a lot of people are kind of seeing what's on the news and stuff like that. Like, oh, interest rates are okay. But it's not like interest rates were low for the past 10, 15 years. It was 2 years.
Right.
Like
It was such an incredible dip for during the COVID
Yes,
years
it was.
to influence spending, to get more people buying homes. That generates
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And with so much money that was being not given to the members of the public, given to the American people during COVID, real estate transactions really balanced everything out.
Yeah.
And now with inflation increasing, they have to slow the spending, they have to slow the purchasing. So that's where we are. That's the market we're in right now.
That's the market we're in.
But regardless of what happens, as you said, everyone needs a place to live.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a home,
Everyone needs a home.
right?
And each area is different, Jonathan. You know?
Completely agree.
There could be one area where the prices are still high, like very high, and there's some that maybe they're a little lower, but it all depends on the area. Miami's interesting. You can't, it's South Florida.
I feel like every block is different.
It's true. Especially where my first home I sold is totally different. If my house would have been a block over, I would have never gotten what I got.
Right. It changes, right? So working in environments like that, areas, driving from Hollywood, Hallandale, Aventura, Sunny Isles, I mean, it changes drastically, right?
Yeah.
As you go up and down.
Totally
So
different.
you meet different people, you encounter different things. Every realtor has a story of a crazy showing, or a crazy transaction or something just funny, wacky, and you need a venue to shout from the mountaintop about how hilarious this is. So I need a story from you. A showing, a transaction, a customer, a circumstance in a deal.
A transaction, I could be here for days. A showing, so this was one of my first listings. This is probably in the first year in real estate, which I got into in 2017. And I had this listing, it was a sphere of influence. And I went to her house to show it, and her grandson, who's like this, gangster kind of guy, he's like, my mama's not selling her home. And he came out and he was like, with a water gun.
A water
He's like,
gun?
I'm gonna pop a bullet in your head, yo. And I was like,
How old was this kid?
he was probably like 35. Yeah. And then the second time around that I came, he got all their Chihuahua mama and all her 6 Chihuahuas to run after me.
So they chased you off. I feel like this should have been recorded for a comedy show or a movie.
I swear, I was like, I should have just like those cams, like the dash cam on the car.
body cam.
I should just have like a cop body cam on me all day, because there's always something. Things. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other crazy showings. Just can't think, but that was funny. That was a funny one.
So as you're coming through your business, your mentality and how you join the industry has changed. You've been in the industry. You said 2017 is when you got your license, right?
Yeah, September 2017.
September 2017. So from 2017 to 2022, where we are now, about to enter into 2023, that's a long time. 5 years in real estate is an eternity.
Yeah.
So many people leave the industry within the first 2 years and they don't survive through. Number one, why do you think people leave the industry in the first 2 years?
I think a lot of people that get into real estate, and no offense to some, it's just not meant for them. I don't believe that anyone can get into real estate. It's easy to get your license. I don't think everyone can stick it through.
Can make a true career, a business, a lifestyle out of it.
When I hear realtors tell me, oh, you know what, I got into real estate because I make my own schedule, well, then you're in the wrong line of work, because it's a 24/7 job. And I see that with being a mom with 2 kids. It's not, okay, I can't
You're constantly on the go. You're constantly on call.
Constantly.
And really you have to schedule your other pieces around your real estate as opposed to the common misconception.
My schedule is based around work. That's how my schedule works.
But you thrive on that.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a workaholic. I mean, after I gave birth to my son, an hour later I was sitting there on my iPad writing my laptop. Then I had a laptop writing contracts.
Incredible.
And that was before COVID. Like, thank God my business was still busy then. And I was just writing a contract. The next day, off to showings.
I don't know what it is, but I picture you. Okay, you gave birth. This is a weird picture to paint right now, but work with me here, follow. So you give birth. I just picture you hear the cry, and you roll to the right, and there's your laptop. That's the picture that's in my head right now.
Literally. And at one point, my ex-husband took my laptop away. He's like, you need to get rest. And I was just doing it on my phone. And imagine Form Simplicity or one of those on your phone, and I'm just zooming into everything. It was torture.
There is a certain thing. I believe that salespeople have a different gear that they go into. And with real estate, it's even more so, is you have a combination of a salesperson and kind of a therapist built into one.
100%.
And that is right there a little bit of a mix of what a realtor is. If you had to mix a bowl, it would be right there. Psychologist, therapist, and salesperson
100%.
Built into one.
And you know what? I'm actually happy to be there as a therapist for my clients. I mean, I had a client, I was selling their home, and they were going through a divorce. This was one of the crazy transactions. And I felt for them both. They're selling one of their homes. This is where they raise their children. They're going through a hard time emotionally. And I tried to be there for both of them. And it was crazy. This one's yelling at this one every day. Someone else is calling me. She did this, he did that. And I just and my thing was just cooperating with their attorneys and
being in the middle and mediating almost.
Almost mediating, but really even leaving the transaction with a good relationship with the attorneys. And they said, look, you handled this very nicely. And for me, that's also what keeps me going. to be able to know I did a good job.
And that's one of the ways that you establish these relationships that bring you referrals, since you work on a referral basis, right?
100%.
If you how do you meet or make new relationships with people that you haven't met? Do you strictly work on, hey, work with Esther, she's great, and then it hands to you, or do you go places? What type of networking or
I love
clubs,
networking.
groups? What do you focus on when you're trying to generate relationships like that?
I love networking. I was actually at a networking event last night for the Friends of the IDF.
Okay.
And I actually met some people there, and I exchanged my business card with a few people. I think, and not everyone's like this, it's constantly to let people know, hey, I'm in real estate. What can I do to help you? A lot is referral based, and not even me calling my clients and asking for business. It's just them, thank God, being so happy with the service they got from me and sending me clients.
You being yourself.
Yeah.
Every day, day in and day out.
Day in and day out.
People find that to be very genuine and easy to connect with.
Yeah.
Because regardless of the situation that you are in, you are Esther Cohen. Put my foot down, I am Esther Cohen. And people gravitate to your confidence.
Thank you.
So that's fantastic. What is a good piece of advice that you would give to another agent who wants to work off of a referral basis like yourself?
I think it's funny because someone asked me that the other day, another agent that I know. And I told him, I'm like, it kind of has to come within you. Like, you really have to, people can tell when someone's BSing and not genuine. Most people can tell. If you really are there for them as their realtor and they're just their concierge for everything throughout from beginning to end, they'll send you referrals. You're saying, like, what can you do to stand out?
What could you do to initiate relationships? Let's say someone is new and moves to the area.
Yeah.
They don't have a network, they don't have connections, they don't have relationships. I'm here in a new city. How can I start to work and be referral based in a new area where I don't have those connections?
Come work for me, I'll tell you.
You heard it here. Esther Cohen is looking for team members.
I am looking to hire some talent. Honestly, I think it's just get yourself known. I don't know, like if you move to a building, go knock on all the doors. Let everyone know. Like where I just moved in, I mean, I literally just closed 2 weeks ago, moving in next week.
Second home.
I'm going to knock on all my neighbors' door and let them know, hey, I'm Esther Cohen. I'm your neighbor. I have 2 kids. I have a dog. If you ever need anything, I'm here. And if I can ever help you with real estate. You see, when you go in and you try to be sneaky, like, oh, hey, I'm your neighbor. And like I'm straight out from the beginning. I'm a realtor.
This is who I am. This is what I do.
I'm the realtor. I'm going to be your realtor forever, for life. That's what I want. I want to be your realtor for life. If I am your realtor and I do one transaction with you and you go and use someone else after, I will take it very personal. You know?
That's how invested you are.
That's how invested I am. Yeah, 100%.
So you're entering into a territory or a new chapter in your life in a second home.
Yeah.
Right? A new area. Still within your farm, so that's fantastic. Love that you're staying within the local community where you've already planted roots, right?
Yeah.
And introducing yourself to new neighbors. How do you market yourself? Have you done any lead generation? Let's start there. Have you ever done any online lead generation? No.
I've been a Zillow Premier agent for like 2 months. That's it.
I love that your business is completely relationship based.
Yeah.
And that's something that is really hard to find, especially consistency. It speaks volumes to your character. So and your personality, really. You're a likable person. Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm a people's person. I love being around people. I'm not a homebody. Once in a while, you'll find me Netflix and chill. I don't remember the last time I literally had to ask my 7-year-old daughter how to use the TV the other day.
Does that make you feel like your parents?
We didn't have a TV growing up.
And that's the evolution of life, right? So looking back, you're constantly evolving. You're still building relationships, still generating business the same exact way. Yeah. But in 5 years, could you have done it differently? Would you have done it differently if you could go backwards? Is there any advice you would have given yourself?
Lead generate. I would have probably lead generated. I think that would have brought me a lot more business. I'm being very honest. But anything else, like, I really wouldn't have done it any other way. I learned a lot. I've had bumps in the roads. I've had times where I wanted to just get up and leave and not do real estate. But not anymore. I mean,
What helps you? So you just described the roller coaster of real
Yeah.
estate. There's a roller coaster of emotions in the transaction, but there's the roller coaster of the industry in general. And we're riding one of those right now, where you ride the highs and survive the lows.
Yeah.
And we are where we are right now. How do you motivate yourself to push through the lows, and how do you celebrate on the highs? You have to celebrate your wins.
I have to always. It's a thing by me. I have friends that are agents, or not even friends, just agents I follow on social media or whatever, that all they do is lead generate from the morning to night, have no social life. I can't live that way. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart. So for me, I will always celebrate my wins. And when it's the roller coaster and it's down, I remember that I have 2 kids to feed, and
You got to
I
push
gotta
through
hustle.
one way or another.
I gotta hustle. So for me, sometimes, yeah, I get out of my comfort zone and I do things that maybe I wouldn't like to do, like call for sale by owners and stuff like that. I do it, and I usually get the listing.
So you do cold calling.
Very rarely, very rarely. That's something I do want to get more into over time, but it's just I'm always so busy with what I have in my pipeline. Thank God.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a fun question. You didn't know this one was coming. So we're going to pivot a little bit and get into your personal side. Okay. Just a little bit though, I promise. We're just going to dip a toe in the pool and then we're going to get back out. It's too cold. So you're at a party, you're at an event, okay? And everybody's having fun, social. You get thrown up on stage. No, you get pushed up on stage. We don't want to say that. That's at a party. You never know what happened. But you get pushed up on stage. Mic thrown into your hand. You have to sing a karaoke song. What song are you going to sing? The lights are on. People are outside. They're in the crowd.
I wasn't prepared for this.
I know. This is a surprise one. Curveball coming your way. You're upstage. The DJ turns to you and says, Esther, you got to rock this place. What song are you going to sing?
Can I look at my Spotify list?
No, give me one. First one that pops into your head. We need quick draw right here, the lightning round. Are you a singer?
You want the windows to crack?
I'm not going to make you sing.
In the shower.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make you sing. But there's got to be a song in your head. I promise I'm not going to make you sing.
No, there is. There's I'm trying to remember the name of it. The name of that song is I Like It Like That. What's that song?
Okay. I think that's a Pitbull song.
Is it a Pitbull song? I think it's a Nicki Minaj, Cardi B.
Cardi B. That's
Yeah,
right.
Cardi
Cardi B. So
Cardi B, her songs, you should know. Anytime I'm driving to meet a client, either a listing appointment or come to a showing to a new client, I just need that little boost. I put her music on. Her music
that's
pumps
motivating.
Me up. Yeah, it's It's like there's something about it that pumps me up. Like I know most realtors listen to podcasts in their car while I
that
can't.
is not true.
I don't know.
That is not true.
I'm listening to this
Who
podcast.
told you? Who told you that everybody drives around listening to
all
podcasts
these real
24 hours a
estate
day?
Facebook groups that I'm in, they're like, yeah, this I'm like, no. I like to read. I actually like to read. I don't listen to podcasts.
You're a paper book.
Yeah, I read.
I can't do that.
No, I read.
So what do you read? What is an author, a writer, a motivator that you read?
I like more like so right now I actually just started reading again the 5 a.m. Club. I forgot
What's that about?
who wrote it. It's kind of like a motivation book, of kind of business and life. And then
I have to assume the 5 a.m. Club. I haven't read this. I'm now going to download it on audiobook to drive around in my car with because I'm a realtor and I drive around listening to audiobooks. That's not true. I do listen to audiobooks though. So tell me about the 5 a.m. Club. It's about the mentality of, you said motivation. So.
Yeah. And honestly, I read it a year ago and I don't remember it so much. So I'm reading it again.
I have to
very
assume,
bad memory.
So that's why you read. You
I
have the
know,
paper
too.
one to refer back to.
Yeah. So I have to reread that to tell you. But I remember it was a good book. I remember reading it and loving it, but I don't remember exactly what it was about.
So
I
you
literally have to
you
reread
seem
it.
like a very dedicated individual, a very motivated, passionate, energetic person, and you still find the need or to be able to read or to need to read books about motivation. Is that to look at things from a different angle, a different
I
perspective?
like to read things from look at things from a different perspective.
So you're always learning.
Yeah, I like to learn, and I feel like when I read books, and I'm even on these Facebook groups of realtors, there's a lot that I take from that, a lot that I learn. I think that we all learn from each other, realtors.
Very true.
I don't see any realtor as my competition. I just learn from them, and whether it's something good or whether something that they do to never do.
That you don't want to do. That's right.
You know, so yeah, to keep motivated. Listen, there's times where I'm not motivated. I think that if I go and take a run around the block, I get pumped up. When I go to the gym, it
Push the
motivates
adrenaline.
me. Yeah, those kind of stuff.
So I believe the 5 a.m. club, I'm going back to this, is about getting up early in the morning, starting your day, getting ready, getting exercise or some type of getting your body moving.
It's the. I'm remembering a little bit like a shama or something from it. What's the thing called?
I don't know.
I know. I swear. I have the.
I haven't
worst
read
memory.
it, but I'm going to download it on
you,
Audible. I have
it's.
6 credits
I remember
available.
reading it. Oh, you have 6 credits. I have a few credits. I don't even use them. I'm telling you, it's. I remember reading it and just being fascinated by it.
Right.
But it was like a year and even almost maybe even 2 years ago.
I have one
And
I listened
packing,
to.
I saw it and I was like, oh, I should read this again.
I have one I listened to, and since you have Audible credits, I want you to download this one. Okay? It's a quick listen. It's really geared more towards men, but I think it applies to anybody.
Yeah.
So you'll hear through the author or the narrator's experience. It's actually narrated by the author. So you really get to feel his passion and
His
kind of what he
passion,
was
yeah.
putting into
I
the
like
book.
that.
That's why I like audiobooks, right? I like to hear the characters, the application of what the author intended them to sound like. Even better when they're narrated, right, by the author. So we might have to beep this out of the podcast, but it's called Make Shit Happen. Literally.
I heard that book. No, I heard that book. Oh, so I'll read
it's
that.
fantastic.
Can I just read it? I mean,
you can
I'll
read it. There's a paper copy, but it's also on Audible. It's really short.
There's another book now that I remember.
If you want, you could become a realtor and listen to podcasts or audiobooks. No, I'm just kidding.
I love music.
I have to listen to music
love
while I
music.
drive as well.
Yeah.
Podcasts or audiobooks are good to listen to in certain circumstances. I can't drive around 24/7 listening to an audiobook or podcast.
I don't know if you watch those like TikToks and Reels and stuff like that.
Not while I'm driving.
Okay, no, not while you're driving. Of course not. No, we don't touch our phone while we drive. Realtors never touch their phone while we drive.
Never.
Never, ever. There's
Don't
unless you have a
text.
Tesla.
Don't
you
text,
just-
stick
you
and
just
wait.
drive.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
I got one.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So
I'm not a good example. We're not going to talk about that.
there's this TikTok where drivers in Miami listening to music, blasting the music, dancing, and then all of a sudden, like, a cop pulls, or like it's like a joke,
And they turn it down real
and then
heavy.
they're like, oh, that's me. I'm blasting music, my sunroof is open, and my windows are down, like in this weather, and I'm just blasting music, and then all of a sudden a client calls, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? How can I help you? What's up? Literally, that's me. I love
But
music.
that's the entrepreneurial lifestyle.
Yeah.
Lifestyle, excuse me. Wow. Learn how to speak here, Jonathan. So the entrepreneur lifestyle. You are living the position that you need to play, playing the role that you need to play.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're a human being, and that's why we're here. So let me ask you this question. This is going to be a fun one. You also don't know it's coming. Okay, it's not as crazy as the karaoke one. This one is more just think inside yourself. And I'm sure it would be really nice right now if this happened. So you have a 7-day, all expenses paid trip. What is on your bucket list? All expenses paid trip for 7 days, anywhere in the world to do anything.
One place?
One place. What is your bucket list spot that you're going to spend this 7-day unlimited open trip? And what is it?
I mean, I would love to go skydiving.
Skydiving.
Yeah.
Okay, where?
I don't know, anywhere.
Anywhere
but
in the world.
I think a trip, like to a 7-day trip, you're gonna laugh, but honestly, all I want is just to sit on the beach, drink a cocktail, and just tan.
And just lay there.
Relax, yeah.
Doesn't matter where.
Cabo. I would like to go to Cabo.
Cabo. Have you been to Cabo?
No, Cabo's on my list. I've been to Cancun, Cancun, Mexico twice.
I was in Cabo for the Millennium,
Oh.
the 1999 to 2000 New Year's Eve. Yeah. Don't ask me why. I don't know how or who or when. No, I'm kidding. I went with my family. But Cabo, it's beautiful.
Cabo's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
From the pictures I see online. So it's just on my bucket list. Cabo. I would love to go to Dubai, Morocco, but those are not trips where I could just sit and relax.
So the last story I want to go through with you is we just talked about travel, right? South Florida, your marketplace is a crazy, desirable tourist place. Travel, vacation, as you stated in the beginning, the American dream is to move to Florida. It's work, etc., save, retire, and move to Florida, right?
West Palm Beach.
West Palm, Boynton Beach. I'm moving to Boynton.
Adele Ray.
My God.
Boca. I'm gonna go to my daughter in Boca.
I remember my grandparents lived down here. This is where I used to vacation. In fact, where this office is located, where we're sitting right now, is literally 1 block from a Chinese food restaurant that I used to eat at with my family on Christmas. The Jewish Christmas meal is Chinese food.
Chinese food, yeah.
And that is the restaurant since I was 7 years old, had been eating Christmas dinner with my family.
Still existent?
Still exists. It's currently being remodeled. I'm not sure if that was...
Okay, we gotta go there when it's ready.
It's not that good.
Oh, it's not that good.
It's
Oh,
not
well, I
that
figured
good.
if you went there every Christmas, it was good.
This is
No.
you gotta think about when this was. This is mid-90s Chinese food, and it's still open, right?
Okay.
That's got to be some high quality cutlery right
Probably
there.
have health grade like C or D.
We're not going to mention that. I still order from there occasionally. It's nostalgic at this point.
Desperation.
But let's go back. So tourism is big down here.
Yeah.
And there's always new people moving to the area. The
Yeah.
population fluctuated dramatically during COVID, and even still now, it's still happening. There's still people moving, which is incredible. I thought it was going to shut off like a faucet. But with all these people moving down, do you find that the area changes and the population changes and the traffic changes? Of course the traffic changes, but do you find that you have to pivot? There we go, using that word again. Do you feel that you have to pivot your business or the way that you interact or your marketing efforts to account for people moving down from different areas or populations changing within your area?
No. And
No.
I'll tell you why. Because what sets me apart from all these Miami native realtors or even realtors that are just living in Miami for a long time is that I work very differently. I don't wake up at 11 o'clock in the morning like most realtors do.
Are you part of the 5 a.m. club?
No, I wake up at 6. There's only 2 days a week where I wake
That's
up
close.
at 5.
That's close.
Mondays and Wednesdays is when I wake up at 5.
Okay. What changes that?
What changes that? I go earlier to the gym on those days.
Okay. So you
Those are
you
my
have a
days.
routine.
Yeah, I have a routine.
Every day you wake up and do X.
Gym, I have my time for getting back to clients, putting my phone on do not disturb mode, making calls to this lender, to the title company, to the attorneys, to the clients, so that I don't get calls in between. And then I have my time where that's what I'm really working on now because I'm a workaholic, is really giving my time to my kids when they get home from school and not touching my phone.
It's important to shut that off.
100%. There's no money, no business can change the way your relationship with your kids. It's just going to ruin it.
So if you had to give one piece of advice, I mean, you've learned quite a bit. If you had to give one piece of advice to another agent who is struggling to find that work-life balance and while building their business, a new business still, what would that piece of advice be? What is that one thing that they could take away from a conversation and apply to themselves?
Stick to your schedule. Color code your calendar. Make time for yourself. Don't think I'm going to work, and not go out for drinks and not go out to dinners or whatever it is or vacation. Because it's just going to burn you out. And I've been there. And about maybe 6-7 months ago, I was totally burnt out. And it was very, very hard. And it took a toll on me physically, mentally, family-wise, everything. And I couldn't afford that. So my advice is stick to schedule. When you say this hour I'm going to sit by the pool for an hour and relax, do it. I don't care who calls. Your clients, if they love you and they think you're the best at what you do, will understand that you're human. And you also deserve to have some time to breathe. But you were asking before about the population, if I feel no, because I think it changes like community-wise. There's a lot, like I hear people complain, oh, all these New Yorkers, you were also once a New Yorker, like give me a break. You know what I mean? It's just, what era did you come in here?
Does that make
come
you
to
feel
Miami?
a certain type of way when people talk about the New Yorkers moving down?
No, I don't care.
No?
They're my bread and butter.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't care. I think it's just, I think it changes because a lot of people are a little more laid back in Miami. But just stick to you. Be yourself. I don't change for anybody.
It sounds like through your career and life, there's ups and there's downs, especially in our industry. Sometimes you have to fail to succeed, but always be genuine in your relationships. And that's what I've learned from you, Esther Cohen. That's noble.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.